everyone. Welcome to the Authenticity Journey Forum. Today, we have an amazing guest, Rob Petrosino. He's a Chief Innovation Officer at Peak Activity.
Yeah.
And we're so excited to have him. He has an amazing personality. He's a top-notch speaker, very engaging, and I can't wait to have this conversation flowing. Rob, welcome to the Authenticity Journey.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. The moment that you were like, "Hey, would you come and do the podcast?" I was like, "Yes." Like, I think I replied in like a quarter of a second when I sent the email. So
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I mean, we couldn't have a better guest. You're so engaging and you speak so well and you bring this real, authentic personality. And this is what we love and this is what we really value in the authenticity journey.
Yeah.
Rob, would you share a little bit more about yourself, what you do, of course, in the world of AI and
Yeah.
a little bit about yourself as we start the podcast?
Yeah, of course. So I've been in what I'll call like the emerging tech space. So like the cutting edge, bleeding edge of tech for about a decade now. And then over the last 5-ish years, I've been like hyper fixated in the AI space. When I was like looking at emerging tech, I was working on like computer vision, right? Like what can a camera see? What can it detect, et cetera? And then as the AI space became more and more popular, it was awesome. Got to do more and more projects in the space. And then transitioned into the world of like Gen AI, right? Which is fantastic and super, super cool. And then over the last 3 years, I've been also working as I've been Chief Innovation Officer for the last 7-8 years. And then over the last 3, I've been working with the FBI as a consultant on AI implementations for both the private and the public sector. So it's been a whirlwind over the last 5-ish years when it comes to employment.
Oh wow, that's amazing, and I mean it's such a huge topic right now, right? With everything that you're doing, I see on LinkedIn all your videos and all your public speaking engagement. I think you're doing such an amazing job, and you're bringing so much value and knowledge to the public out there, especially on AI.
Yeah.
I think how would you explain AI to someone who doesn't know what AI is? I'm not extremely technology savvy either, even though we're in cybersecurity. I'm not the actual CISO, the person who actually is fully involved with technology. I love the human aspect of things. How would you explain AI to me in the most simple way as possible?
And how will it change the future?
The
present and the future.
And the future.
Geez. Okay. So I explain artificial intelligence. Like if I'm talking to a non-technical person, which is every single CEO of every company ever.
Yes.
Just like how it works. Sorry. And then, what I say to like my nieces and nephews, artificial intelligence is just a computer making a decision based on data. That's it. So, right. If you think of it in that way, the new generative AI stuff is a computer acting and creating things that human normally make.
Right.
Right? Like art or a human-like voice or text or a book. There's the other side of the coin, which is when a computer makes something based on data that is more or which is less creative, right? Like if you drive in a Tesla, it knows how many lanes there are. It knows if there's a person crossing the street, right? It automatically brakes. Those are both in the world of AI. It's just they're opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And then when you think about the future, those spectrums are already able to be used by a single tool or single computer. So a single computer, artificial intelligence can make something really creative or make a snap decision that's highly accurate. And it can do both of those at the same time. What we're starting to see is we used to think like, oh, I need a large language model. I need this single place where I get all this repository of information. And now it's shaping to be that these AI tools are more human, where this little part of me is really good at drawing, and this little part of me is really good at reading, and this little part of me is good at seeing. And you're starting to get AI systems that are acting or resembling humans, where they have a portion of AI that acts like eyes, a portion that acts like ears, a portion that acts like the mouth, a portion that acts like the hands to draw, et cetera. So that's the kind of direction that I see it moving into right now in 3 minutes from now, who knows?
Who knows? It's a constant change, right?
Yeah.
And I can see that you have to be constantly updating yourself on a daily basis because you wake up and everything has changed already. There's this new information, new things. So how do you work with that?
Yeah. I have the best job ever because I have a fatal flaw. My fatal flaw is I have rampant imposter syndrome. Okay. So I'm always waiting for someone to be like, I know you don't know what you actually know. And I'm like, so that imposter syndrome is perfectly married in the AI space right now.
Right.
Because what fuels my imposter syndrome is that it's moving so fast. And the only way that I stipend that off is by reading like every single piece of new AI research that comes out, every new news article, so that at least I'm like what I would call informed. So it really comes down to I read a lot. I read a lot of not only the current news and that type of stuff. I also read like industry leaders like the Gartners and the McKinsey. They generate reports. But what I find myself reading the most of is actually like research papers from students in like Stanford, MIT, Columbia, et cetera, that are working on like new and novel ideas and go, oh, if this took off really well in the industry, this is the impact it may have.
Right.
So it's a lot of digestion of that. I will also say I'm using the word read a lot here, but like take a research paper, bring it into an AI tool and be like, make a 5-minute podcast about this and just like tell me and then like listen to it while I'm in the shower, to be 100% honest.
I know it saves you time.
Yes.
But that's really nice. And it sounds like the imposter syndrome actually is your place of motivation because it keeps you excited thirsty for information to, really keep up with everything.
100%.
So
yeah.
It turns out that sometimes negative things are not necessarily negative. It actually keeps you going.
Yeah, as I say in the tech space, right? It's not a bug, it's a feature.
It's
right?
Yes.
Like this is not a bug that I got handed. It's just a feature to be on top of it. And I think if someone like this podcast, first off, love that we even have the opportunity to talk, but for me to come on here and not know the most recent things that are happening. Right. I feel like I'm being disingenuous to y'all and then all the people that listen to this and all the people that talk about it later on. Same thing with a presentation to a C-suite executive, same thing to going to a conference and talking there. Like it's my job to be on top of it.
On top of everything. Right. And you also have to be comfortable with the changes. So let's say whatever you're recording today and 5 weeks from now, it may be completely different. And then you have someone watching today and no, this is not.
Yeah. Things
have changed already. What is he talking about? So it's very important that you mention that because everything is, constantly evolving when it comes to AI.
Yeah. I've had this conversation a lot because one of the things that you want to do is you want to like plant a flag somewhere when you talk about solutioning for people or an idea. And it's very hard to plant the flag in the space of AI because the sand is shifting so much. Right. So it's like, what do we talk about? So where I kind of rally to is like, I have a couple sets of a set of principles and a guideline really of like, okay, if we adhere to these things that are non-technical, that are human ideas, we'll have a much better path to communicating it versus being like, we only use this tool.
Right.
Right. Because who knows what's going to happen to that tool 5 minutes or 5 months from now.
It changes.
Mm-hmm. I just found myself testing meeting notes tools the other day. So I was on a meeting with someone that we were trying to get to know. And I had 3 different tools taking notes at the same time, just to compare apples to apples. Well, AI to AI, I guess at that point, and see which one did a better job. And the thing is, they all do different things. I would love to combine all of them in one. So it's challenging.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of where we are right now, right? Like when I look forward to the day where we have the conversation of like, did you Google it or open a Word doc where the technology becomes synonymous with the action that you're trying to get done, specifically in the AI space, right? Like, oh, did you use blank tool? And I think that that's really something that will propel us into the future because that has now solidified as like, oh, we're going to use X tool for this type of implementation action that needs to be done, et cetera. But I think we're so far away from that because of how quick the tools move. But I'm not surprised. Well, one, kudos on you for even testing 3. Most people just use like, what's the best meeting tool?
Right.
Google search, and then download the first one. It's like some spam thing. But yeah, I think it's an interesting time, and people who are motivated and interested in it wind up having better implementations than people that are just apathetic, if you will.
Right. Well, Rob recently was one of our speakers at the Authenticity Journey first forum event, and we're very grateful for that. It was very exciting, very engaging. And one of the things that stood out to me is your creativity, because, you were public speaking and giving a speech about AI to an audience that is curious about it, but not extremely knowledgeable on it. And you had such a simple, creative way of actually bringing that information to the outside, and you succeeded at that. How do you keep that creativity alive in a way that's, you're explaining in a way that's simple and effective to someone who's not knowledgeable on it?
So I wish I could be like, oh, this is the exact way that I did this, and this is the thing that you can do, and here's the path that anyone out there can follow. I don't have that blueprint down where it's like, step 1, do X, step 2, do Y. What I can say is one of the first jobs that I had coming out of college was I was a teacher. I was an art teacher.
That's where your creativity comes from.
So so not to bury the lead, but that's probably where a little bit of it comes from. But when you're a teacher, there's a moment where you go from thinking, oh, I'm locked in here with 30 kids to no, the 30 kids are locked in here with me. Okay. And I was lucky because I taught freshmen through seniors in high school. And I would also have like 13-year-old freshmen with 18-year-old seniors in the same class. So I had kids that were like, I want to go to Pratt and RISD, like the best art schools. And then I had kids that were like, I have to take art. Don't talk to me. Right. In the same classroom. Right. So I think that experience and doing that for the time that I did helped me craft this. Okay, I know how to be entertaining enough and educational enough so that I'm level setting for everyone in the room. So it's not a superpower. It's just a learned skill from being in front and doing it a lot. And I think it's exposure therapy type of learning that I've had.
And, as a teacher, in teaching, you have to be very creative and present. And even there's some level of acting at times because you have to get everyone's attention and really get them to feel, engaged and into whatever it is whatever knowledge that you are teaching and providing. So,
yeah, I don't have kids. So what I always say is like, I know what it's like though, because I know what it's like when someone walks up to me and is like, what do you think of this? And like hand you a piece of artwork.
Yes.
And be like, wow, I'm going to hang this up right now. Yes. And it's one of the worst things you've ever seen in your entire life. So I know it from that degree, right? I don't have the child rearing or anything like that, but there is a level of like, I have to know where this person's coming from to meet them where they are. And that's often one of the things that I think the world misses a lot. It's like, I think we get, locked into ourselves and think about ourselves a lot. And we don't always like look at the other person and be like, oh, what are they bringing to this that I need to know?
That perception is very fundamental. Thinking about the other person, how do they feel when they receive that information or as I speak? And that's what makes you powerful because you have that perception from your years of teaching, of understanding how are they feeling? Like they're probably sitting here and this sounds, boring. They have no idea what you're talking about. How can I make this engaging? How can I make this flow in a way that they actually enjoy it? Right. So
it's very easy to know when someone's not interested when you're speaking on stage. And it's so easy.
It is.
It's not like, oh, they're looking down. It's not like, oh, their eyes are closed. Because like depending on the audience side, you can't tell. It's that their face turns blue because they pulled out their cell phone and have unlocked it. Right? That's like the number one indicator. You'd be like, oh no, I'm losing people because of this. So I think a big portion of that is knowing who you're talking to will let you gauge the depth that you need to go into a topic, right? Also, you're not there for yourself. You're there to share, give, and explore with them. So if you're not giving a ton, they're not going to care, and they're not going to be interested, and they're not going to tell you you're a good speaker.
Yeah.
And I think the level of detail is crucial regardless of, what the topic is. But the audience, there is something I like to call the helicopter approach, where you go all the way on top and you speak, 30-foot type of things to executives.
Yeah.
Or you go all the way down in detail as much as you can, depending on how technical the audience is. And you spoke about a lot of different things in that keynote. So thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
So I do the helicopter approach, and as I'm replaying your keynote in my brain, I remember two things. So one, we included in the recap. If the product is free, you are the product. I love that.
Oh, yeah, that one's but the product's free. That one's a good one.
So true.
That automatically reminded me of free Gmail accounts out there, right?
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot of products out there that follow the same thing. So that was a great example. And then the other thing was the engagement. When you put your hands out there and kind of like did like a half sit up, like that was very engaging. I'm not sure how I would incorporate that, but my brain is thinking, how do I incorporate that in my presentations or my speaking engagements later on?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about the helicopter thing real quick. And one of the people that I work with, we were having this conversation of like, how do you talk about something very high level, but then get into the details? And we were discussing and having this conversation with like technical or non-technical people, doesn't really matter. And she looked at me and goes, if you can avoid vertigo in a conversation, it'll be really easy. Meaning you can't take that helicopter from 30,000 feet to 3 feet in the snap, like, right? And I was like, oh, that's a really good call out. Like that's something that I always talk to people about, specifically in the tech space. It's very easy to get into the weeds really, really quickly on things. So yeah, to that point of like the helicopter approach and like slowly working your way down into the details is really, really critical. And for like, if you want to like get people off their phone, right? Like get them to do something. It's so easy for anyone. I do this all. So there's the trick that I talked about, you stick your hands out and do the things. But the one that I give to everyone is have them do a blind survey live. And then you're going to be like, okay, well, what's a blind survey live? It's like, okay, well, like close your eyes. Everyone on the audience, close your eyes. I remember that. Okay. And then you go, all right, stick out your hands in front of you. All right, raise your hand if this is true. Right? Oh. And then put your hand out. Well, what does that happen? I got them off their phone. I got their hands off of computers or laptops. And I have them interacting with me in a way that makes it really interesting. And you could do like, all right, we're going to do a blind survey real quick. Okay, if you use blah, 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 raise your hand. Okay, cool. Put your hands down. All right, now open your eyes. Now that we have a level of trust, you can keep your eyes open. I'm going to ask you this next question.
That's very wise.
And then you're getting them off of, right, out of self and into us, right? Speaking is just group hypnosis.
Yes, because they're participating. Right. They are engaged. Mm-hmm. On my side, I host a lot of, wellness events, which is on the mindfulness side. And such as, yoga nidra, and it's very similar to hypnosis. And it's kind of the same thing, slightly different, but you're bringing people to reconnect with themselves, and they are present. You're not just speaking beautiful, soft things. They're just listening, but they can be there and be completely, out of it, like in a different space. Because you can be here, but your thoughts are elsewhere. So it's the same thing as you're doing, hypnosis or things like that, or guided meditations. You bring people into feeling their bodies and their sensations, their emotions, so that they are actually participating. They're actually present in a way that makes them actually eventually relax throughout the practice. So it's a slightly different, but it's the same thing. So it's more of a dynamic engagement, right? You're speaking and people are participating and you're getting them to raise their hands or do things, make choices. So you get them. They don't even have the time to,
fall out
of it.
For sure.
You keep going, and that's a talent too. It's very hard to do that. You have to. I know it seems easy, but it's also a talent. It comes from within you because it's something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because if you don't bring that passion for what you're doing, it just doesn't happen. You can teach someone all the techniques in the world. If you don't have that fire, it just does not.
If you don't care, everyone knows.
Yes.
At the drop of a hat.
Yes.
Right? If you don't if you don't care, ain't no one in that audience is going to care about what you're
Absolutely.
talking about. And that's what humans are really good at. We've been around long enough to recognize things in people. And recognizing if someone is interested and engaged in the thing that they're talking about will immediately reflect itself in you. That's one of the things that everyone's always like, how did you become such a good speaker? And we talk about like the education thing. And then I was like, go take an improv class. Go take a comedy class, because like an improv or a comedy class is exactly what you're talking about. I have to be nimble and dynamic and take the information that someone else is giving me and make it into a thing. That's really hard to do. You
can't do an amazing public speaking and if you don't have deep human connection. It all goes back into that. So if you go take acting classes, which, I've done in the past, it used to be one of my biggest passions. If you go do anything, you have to learn how to engage with the human, like the way you look at people, the way you talk to them. You have to build an impact that comes from within, a deep engagement. Yeah. So in your case, you're going there and there's like hundreds of people in a room. You have to feel the room. You have to scan the room, and you have to bring your presence while you're still engaged. So it's very important to bring back the human aspect of things, human connection. If you're unable to have human connection, you're unable to speak to another person.
I mean, and that's the thing that we lost during that COVID era, right? Was like everyone was sitting. I remember seeing people. I'm a big comedy fan, right? I love comedy. I love everyone underneath the sun that does comedy. I think it's one of the hardest things that you could do, et cetera. But like, I remember people trying to do comedy on like a Zoom call.
Right.
And it's like, it's impossible. It's one, it's gross. It feels gross, but two, it's like, it's impossible because that human connection that happens is so important when you're trying to exchange the currency of emotion.
Yes.
Right? Like I'm trying to give you excitement, joy, insight, knowledge, etc. It's so hard to do through a screen.
It is.
It really, really is.
I'm all about human connection. The same as I teach yoga here and there on events, and I've never been able to do that on YouTube. And I've tried with all my heart. It's just that I feel that I move with fire. Like I'm such a human lover. I like to feel the energy, the heat, the sensations, like the good things, the bad things. So I feel that when I enter a room, I can only do the job I do in a way that will impact others, that it's worth it. If it's live, if I'm just doing online and I don't feel people, it doesn't come through. It's not the same.
And I think it's also about presence and purpose, because if you're in a room, you have a physical presence there. And just like you said, you can see the interactions and all the verbal cues on whether it's, the face or the gestures or, the subtleties, but also the purpose. Like, why are you in that room? Maybe you're in a meeting online and you have to be in that meeting. Right. Versus if you go to a relationship building event, that's what we like to call it instead of networking events.
Sure. No, I love it. I got to use that term.
If you go to a relationship building event, then you're there to build relationships. You're there to get to know other people. But just for me, because I've been an introvert, and like I made the joke there, I'm an extrovert in training. One of the things that I've found out over the years is the more I interact with people, the more I get to know myself. Mm. And I know we're not supposed to talk about the parrot, but kind of have to do it at this point. I'm not a singing person. I don't sing.
Yeah.
But I found myself being even more of an extrovert now that we got a blue crown canoe, a little parrot.
Sure.
So I found myself being silly, and where I'm a type of personality. I'm always like, business, trying to do these things. So
he comes across as very serious, like a serious personality, but he's
stoic.
not. He's just
So I find myself kind of finding a different side of me just by being, goofy with the parrot.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is the parrots, they learn so fast, and we're considering potentially getting another parrot because they bond very quickly.
Yeah.
And I had parrots before when I was a kid, so that was like probably 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And these one bonded very quickly.
yes.
And we're trying to figure that out because you can't really have two. It will be just a party in the place, and you couldn't sleep.
So it goes back. That's a great thing too. So if someone feels, challenged when it comes to the human aspect of things and the human connection, I think bonding with an animal or a pet, or it could be a parrot or it could be a dog. I'm a dog lover. I think it really helps a lot because they're very similar to us. It may sound funny, but they're able to connect. It's the feeling. So as you talk about your public speaking, it sounds like we're, going off track, but we're really not.
No.
Because it's about the feeling, the emotions.
Yeah.
That's what keep things alive. So.
No, I completely agree with you. So my thing, I'm a dog fan. I know we talked about this a little bit, right? Like I love dogs. That's if I could have a dog right now, I would have a dog, but I travel every 3 minutes. So I don't feel like it's fair to have a dog in that situation. That said, what we're talking about is like the spectrum of human experience and emotion. Like I said the word stoic before, right? Someone that's very reserved and very stoic in their nature, they can be that way, but they should allow themselves to have the full range of human emotions. And I think all too often we kind of just be like, oh no, like I'm super reserved and I'm going to be reserved about every portion of my life. Or, oh no, I'm super like, I'm on the whim and I'll fly off the handle and, I'm going to be expressive and I'm painting myself in this area. But it's that range of emotion and enjoying all aspects of it, from being a super extrovert to a super introvert. You should experience all of it. And I think pets bring that out in you.
They do.
And they bring out like a portion that you wouldn't know that was really there. Like I didn't know that I could baby talk like a pet until I had a dog. And I was like, oh, you're such a cool puppy. I didn't know that that was me. And it also doesn't help that I'm like a 6'3" ogre. And I go up to like a 2-pound chihuahua. And I'm like, you're such a cool pup. But that's a big part of it, is allowing yourself to have that spectrum of experience as a human. And I think that's sometimes lost, and it's sad because that's what makes us what we are and who we are.
Yes.
And Rob, talking about being human, what brings you joy?
Oh, that's a great one. There's this moment that you can have in a group of people or one-on-one where you say a thing and you literally see this idea leave your mouth, hit this person, and you get like a little eye open, or you get like a little brow furrow, or you get this like expression of like, oh, this resonated with me.
Right.
That, like, I used to call it like the aha moment, because it happens a lot. Like in your job, like you know this. Oh, I'm going to tell you a thing, and they're going to go, oh, like that is the most joyful thing I can do. And I really prided myself on like taking overly complex things and dumbing them down so that everyone can get them, and then building the person back up to the complex thing. And that's that aha, that's that light bulb. The more I've done it, the more I want to do it for all the conversations that I have. And like that is what truly brings me joy. That and food. Wow. But like mostly
we love food. Who doesn't love food?
Yeah.
I mean, food is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Food brings people together, and
100%.
it again brings back feelings and
Yeah.
from everything from the smell, the preparation, and the touch. You know, even Indians, they will eat with their hands, which is something I've experienced and I love it too. It's just food brings so many feelings, so many different things in us. So
I think it's the same type of thing, right? Like if you have the right people around the table, the food is better.
yes.
The food tastes better if you have the right people at the table. You can have some of the best meals of your life, but if you're in bad company, that food tastes bad. And I think that there's just a communal aspect to it, right? So if I can spark understanding or joy or elicit an emotion or make someone feel heard or allow me to understand where someone's coming from, I'm building this unique connection with them, whether it's individual or in an audience, which is the same connection you can have through food. It's just food becomes the medium for that connection versus the conversation.
Yes, that's amazing. I agree with you. What's your favorite food?
Oh my gosh. I'll eat anything. I'm a glutton. I will gorge myself, which is uncomfortable, but true. I was born and raised in the Northeast though. So Italian food for me, will always remind me of family or being together for the holidays and that type of stuff. That is just where it comes from. I think that's my favorite, but I will try anything. I was in China and I ate jellyfish.
Oh, wow.
Right? I'll try anything.
Everything.
It was not a great experience, but I tried it. Right? So I think that's that aspect of it is really important. Is it obviously there's a cultural exchange. Obviously there's a community aspect of it, but you're trying something new. You're stepping outside this kind of maybe preconceived notion that you have when it comes to food and eating and connecting. And I think a lot of that can come through cuisine.
Oh, yeah, that's very impactful. I mean, food has an impact in our lives and the way we feel. There's a culture aspect of things. You said, it reminds you of, your childhood because you're from Italy, right?
Well, yeah, my family.
Your family. So everything, it's like me. I'm Brazilian. And when I eat simple rice and beans and avocado, those are main Brazilian dishes. And it makes me feel like I'm in Brazil. It's that feeling, of
nostalgia almost.
Yes. So it's great what it makes us feel. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, Rob, how would you describe yourself? Anything, maybe something you haven't shared yet on a podcast.
Okay.
How would you describe yourself? Maybe share something positive, something that, negative, that you believe it's negative, but it's probably not. Just deep things about yourself that you can probably share right now.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a good one. My love languages, you guys know what love languages are? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
And there's 6 of them.
5.
I made my own.
You made 6. Your own?
Yeah.
All right, wait. Everyone on the podcast, go and pause this. Look up the love languages and come back. No. Wait, what's the 6th one that you have?
Anything you want.
Anything you
want.
D, all the above? It's just fill all the blanks?
Well, I know what mine are and I know what yours are, right? But for me, number 6 is growth.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I need to be thirsty about just growing. It doesn't have to be just professional. It could be personally. But for me, if I'm not learning something new, which is why tech and cyber and all of this is the perfect field for me as well. I just need to grow and evolve constantly. And so for me, the love language is more about self-love at that point, but nourishing that aspect. So growth would be my 6th love language.
All right, I'm stealing. There's 6 love languages. No, that's a really good one. I really like that. Okay. I brought that up to say my love language, one of my love languages is words of affirmation. Okay. So I think that when I get to have the reason why I enjoy getting that connection or understanding someone is because it fulfills this words of affirmation thing, right? So when you're you're such a good public speaker, there's a part of me that on the inside, I'm pouring in the love cup.
I get you because I'm the same way. My love language is words of affirmation. And I tell that, I always mention that because for years I was hosting mindfulness events and, doing real estate on the side. But the mindfulness events, they were so fulfilling.
Mhm.
I felt fulfilled and extremely happy. And I didn't really understand why, but I knew it was that feeling of people coming to me and saying, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Or you've changed my life, or I did not commit suicide because of everything, you've been hosting of everything that we've been doing. So that is so fulfilling. I would win my day. And I'm still that way. So when people remind me of something that I do well, it brings me to life. I feel alive. It's almost like a healing aspect of things. It's not the need that people have to be constantly acknowledging, but it just, because your love language is affirmations, it brings you to life. It makes you want to do more and better. It keeps you vibrant.
But it goes back to the thing we were talking about before, when it's like, if you actually feel that way and say the thing,
yes,
it means so much. But if you don't feel that way and you say the thing, it means nothing. Right. Like,
right.
there's, so it was after your event. We were talking, it was during one of the like networking relationship building portions, excuse me.
Yes.
And someone walked up to me like, said this to me. And it's something that is now ingrained and stuck in me. Someone was like, you have such an educator's heart. And I went, oh, God. That one hit the core. Please tell me more. And they're like, yeah, like,
I'm
no,
the same way.
Yeah, like, they're like, you care if I know the thing you're talking about. And it shows. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't know. I've never heard that phrase before, but that's everything that I always meant. And that's everything I always wanted. So like, that was like, that doesn't always happen, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't always come through. But when those words come through and it's said by someone that means it, it means a lot. So I think that like, the good thing is like, those words, when you mean them, mean so much to people. And it's something that you should be conscious of when you're talking to others. And the same for like when someone says something negative, right? It can like really bounce around and resonate with people. And I think that sometimes even I get flippant with my words, right? And are not purposeful with them. And that that's not a good, it's not a good reflection of you, and you're probably hurting the other person more than you realize.
It happens. I mean, we're humans with imperfections, so we're just, but I think it's very important to recognize it, right? When I say something that's maybe it did not come across as I expected, or maybe, it came in a moment of irritation, I think it's very important to recognize, to acknowledge that you made a mistake and that's okay.
For sure.
But when you talk about the words of affirmation, that's I even compared that to like Lifeline, because for me I believe in energy. Like we have this body, and of course we have struggles with our physical bodies, and everyone knows I have so many. But I think what keeps you alive beyond this body, because there's this boost of energy that keeps you going, the desire to live, that your heart beats faster, the desire to be here. Because if you don't have that, then you actually die. Then you start, let's say you're already sick, then you get sicker, then you start drowning. So I call it like the lifeline, because words of affirmation is something that you need. So when you receive that, you feed your soul. You feed your soul, not only your soul, but your body, your energy. You continue to grow, you continue to live, and you become more present, more alive.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
100%. One of the things that I've seen, because myself, friends, partners, the generation above me was really focused on, I'm going to work at this job. I'm going to do 35 years. They're going to give me a gold watch, and then I get to retire.
How big is a gold watch?
Yeah, not big enough. It's never big enough. No. What I've seen is, or several times what I've seen is, specifically, it just happens to be men in the cases that I'm thinking of, but men who were at this job forever, validated themselves through this job, and then they retire and they get cancer. They get sick.
Yes.
And there's something there where you have been this thing. I've been a cop forever, been a doctor, I've been a lawyer, I've been a garbage. It doesn't matter the thing.
The title attachment.
Right? It doesn't matter the thing that they did, but that's who they were. And when they stop being that thing because it's their employment, like I've seen them take a decline.
Yes.
And it happens often. So there's something to knowing yourself beyond the work that you do, because if you ever want to retire, like there's a real mental, physical connection.
What else keeps you alive besides that, right? Especially with titles and you know, the world we live in, everything's about titles. Oh, I do this, I'm that. And we feel attached, right? I have a level of attachment to every title I've had. And then when you lose that, or when you just remove yourself because you're working on something new, you have a level of depression or a level of like, okay, who am I now?
Yeah.
And what am I doing with my life? Like, what keeps me alive? So you have that moment of where you feel lost. So as you mentioned, and I love how you put everything together, is what else beyond your titles and work actually feeds your soul and keeps you vibrant and alive so that you don't die when that is removed from you. Even when you think about someone who's sick, even going through a cancer treatment or things like that, or a chronic illness, like I personally have as well. So when you think about that, if there's nothing else that keeps you going, you do die. Then you drown. So someone who's really sick, even going, like you mentioned, cancer, the ones that continue to work or continue to do something that brings them that level of excitement in life, they actually remain alive longer and they keep going and they even heal.
They have a fulfillment too.
Fulfillment, yes. You have to have something that brings you fulfillment, something that you know, moves you, because it's not just, I believe that everything is connected, right? So even the physical struggles we have has to do with something that's missing. And sometimes it takes a lifetime to figure it out. But it's very important to understand that connection and do things that will fulfill you, because that will keep you standing. If I don't do anything that fulfills me, I'm so connected to energy, that God and energy, that it's almost like a flower. I will just die. Yeah. It would, okay, I got nothing. Yeah. So what you mentioned is very powerful.
I mean, I always think of legacy. And I'll tell this story if you guys want to hear it. But
yes, absolutely.
Legacy has always been something that's been important to me. And I didn't know it was important to me until one very specific thing happened. And I'll wrap this into exactly what you're talking about. But when I was 12, I was walking home from school in the middle of winter. My school was 3 blocks from where I lived. It was not far. It was the middle of winter. And walking home, I played football my whole life. And I had a football in my hand. And I was walking home, had my backpack, and I heard someone it sounded like someone was like calling a name, and it was like the middle of winter, snow on the ground. And I looked, and there was an old woman who had fallen taking out her trash in the backyard. Okay. And I was like, oh, I dropped my backpack, dropped the football, sprinted, picked this woman up, brought her inside. My sister was coming home and saw my football in my bag, didn't know what was going on. And then the cops all showed up, and it was 7 houses down from me. And it was really it was, oh, Rob did this great thing, blah, blah, blah. The newspaper came, wrote an article. It was like, Rob, you help this woman, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was right around the time that the internet came out. And I went and was talking to my family. It was probably a week later. And I was like, my mom was like, you should go and see if it's on the website. And I was like, I don't know how to find this. Right, so I think it was Yahoo at the time. It was after Ask Jeeves, but Google wasn't there yet. And I just Googled my last name. And when I Googled my last name, the article didn't come up anywhere. But what did come up was my great-great uncle. He was the first ever New York City police officer.
Oh, wow.
Super cool. Chased the mob out of New York, made the bomb squad, did all this crazy cool stuff, which was really cool to find out. However, I realized in this moment decades ago that basically no matter what I did, I will always be the second Google rank to him if you type in my last name.
Oh, wow.
Right? So like it's unlikely. Like no matter what I really do, I'll never outrank him in the Google search.
Oh, that's
right.
Crazy.
So like that legacy, that portion of it has been a driver for me. And I think it drives into the imposter syndrome. It's driving into the speaking. It's driving into helping people solve problems and work and all that. And I think it all boils down to I have an innate desire. If someone's like, you know, on your one of the things we always talk was like on your tombstone, if they could put a thing, what would you want them to put? Right? Besides the dates that you lived in, what would they want you to put? And the thing that I've recently realized is if they could put master storyteller on my tombstone,
you would.
I won. I did it right. Because to tell a really good story, you have to go through a thing. You have to understand the thing that you're going through. And then you have to take people who are not there.
Right.
Pull them in and make it really meaningful for them. So like if that was the thing that was on my tombstone, did it right. I think you did it the right way.
What would you put on yours?
Honestly,
I was going to ask you guys what you guys were both going to put on yours. So.
Honestly, I never think about it. As much as I have this deep spirituality and everything, I work as hard as I can to come into good terms with mortality because I think it's what keeps me alive and makes me get up every single day with all the challenges I personally have. When I think about death, and I freak out. The idea of like, what am I going to put in my? It just. I don't even think about it. I mean, I can try to think about something now. Like, you know, I'm not sure what I think if someone wrote anything related to courage and courageous, I think that would be very, I'm sorry, it's just that really has a really deep meaning for me.
Yeah.
I think that would be life-changing. That would fulfill me. That would make me feel like I won, like you said. Because from, you know, the few people that know me personally and everything I've been through in life and the courage I have every single day to do something with my life, despite all the challenges I've been through, I feel that courage is a word that would empower me. And also one of the things that I'm passionate about is encouraging others and empowering others, bringing others to life, you know, and it's not because I know how to do my life perfect. It's the opposite, but because I know what it feels to be a human and to have challenges and to hurt and to feel all the sensations, you know, misery, pain, beauty, ecstasy. I know all of that. So my biggest passion is to empower and help people find that inner courage within them, the courage that brings you to life, that makes you wake up in the morning and regardless of what you have, your circumstances, that allows you to get up and do something with it. So this is what I've, you know, over the years, this is one of my biggest passions, working with people to get them back into life. And I've done that so well with so many different things that I've, you know, hosted, that I've done. And that's it. That's, I think, courageous. It would be something that
you would be proud of.
I would be proud of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
It's not easy to define. All right, what do you got? Good luck beating that, by the way.
Courage automatically came to my mind when I thought of yours.
Yeah.
For me, no copyright infringement here.
No. This is.
It would just say, just did it. Instead of the copyright, just do it. It would just say, just did it.
Just did it.
The first conversation we had as we were trying to get to know each other, preparing for the event, the topic of a life well lived. Remember, we were talking about that many, many years ago, back in 2017, I think it was, that this concept of stop playing small came over my mind. And that was around the time that I got the master's in cyber, published the book on cyber and everything else. But when I did that, a lot of doors opened. But then I freaked out because there were too many choices. There are too many choices. So I had a master's degree, I had all these certifications, and I had the golden handcuffs at the time. But I knew that I wanted to do more. And I was just telling Clara a few days ago, I remember going to bed, looking on my phone, many years ago, through the apps, not to see what else I could install on the phone, but what else it's possible, what else could be done. And that comes from a curiosity on technology and possibilities on and now with AI, it's just Pandora's box. But all the decisions that I've made since then, and did a lot of life changes in 2021 and since then, but all the decisions that I made since then, I am proud of the life that I've lived because it's with courage, it's with empowerment, but it requires a different perception. So one of my favorite quotes is, believe in yourself and you'll be unstoppable. And that goes with imposter syndrome because we all have it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Everyone have it. Everyone, you have it. No, just you have it. You have it. No.
Yeah, I have it.
Look under your shirt. You have it.
Yeah, it's 100%.
So that to me has been a driver too. And I'm in competition with myself.
Right.
Every single day. Am I better today than I was yesterday? And just the self-leadership aspect, just that little tiny piece. Am I being more positive? Am I seeing problems as challenges to solve? Am I seeing the bigger picture? Am I doing the helicopter thing very well with myself, which is the most difficult thing?
Yeah.
Because if you have a conversation with your friend and you tell them all your problems, like ChatGPT, your friend, right?
Sure, yeah.
That you could explain everything. But even then, that it has blind spots. But if you speak with someone, and it could be someone that you never met, someone you'll never see again, but a different perspective will open a lot of doors. And I find myself every few months, how come I didn't think of that? How can I incorporate that into my own process of continuously learning? So the point with that is a life well lived for me has been moving forward with what you want in life. And that to me looks like growth. And really in every aspect. But everyone is scared of change. And if you don't change, then I've met people throughout my career that they were afraid of learning new technology. Unfortunately, now that's not a good place to be. But if you're afraid of learning, if you're afraid of trying new things, then you're always going to stay behind. And for me, just did it would be there only because there was this huge plan behind it, but it got done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
You brought a great one.
It's
That
not
was
easy.
a very deep
Deep cut
question that you brought.
Hey, listen, if we're going to be authentic to ourselves, we got to figure out what it looks like. So.
And the storyteller, it resonates so much with you. During the event, you were one of like the highlights. I received a lot of feedback after, a lot of emails, a lot of people requesting your contact information and who is he, and I think part of that is the good energy, the talent that you have of engaging and storytelling. It was fun. And I got amazing feedback, and we've even shared your information with some of the guests that requested after through email. You did an outstanding job, and I think that's you. So you made the right choice, and I don't think we'll have a problem having that. Not that you're going anywhere anytime soon. It's just that I think this is exactly what people see in you when they listen to you, when they connect with you. This is exactly what you bring. So
I appreciate that. Those, since we're being authentic, right? The imposter syndrome, right? The legacy, the desire to be a good storyteller. The thing that I've worked on the most is trying to sit with someone's words and be like, I'm not going to deflect this. Oh, stop. Don't do that. it's very hard for me to accept those words, but I do appreciate them, especially coming from you and both of you. Between the event that you put on, how you communicate with people, the people that you surround yourself with, right? When you say the things that you do say, they do mean a lot. And that goes to the character that both of you have. And that character manifests itself in this podcast, it manifests in the events, the work that you do, etc. So I think you guys are
because it's real. It's
there.
It's authentic. There's no perfection in it. And even throughout the event, every person we had in there, it was one by one. That was not online marketing or it's just one by one, building that relationship, one call at a time, one person at a time. We've been in Florida for only a year and a half.
Yeah.
So we
to have that network in a year and I've been here for 8 years and I couldn't fill that room.
But it's one by one. It's taking the time. I try to not think about the end result. Yeah. I try to be deep and present. So if I'm building a relationship with you, okay, we spoke for an hour, this and that. I think it's one at a time. You build something that's worth it. Mm-hmm. And it takes time and it takes care. You can have hundreds of people in a room tomorrow and do an extensive marketing that's so engaging. But you can do it different because you can bring value into the room. Yeah,
you're right. You're 100% right. I think that all too often we get worried about how many seats do we fill? How many clicks do we get? What was the engagement? We talked about this a little bit, right? What's the engagement like? Blah, blah, blah. And not the interconnectivity that you're talking about.
Correct.
I completely agree.
Correct. I get for you, it's natural. You're an amazing speaker, and AI is all over. And
everyone wants to hear something about it.
Everyone wants to hear. I think it's you will have hundreds of people regardless. Yeah. It's a great topic, and you make it really fun. Going back to that.
Yes.
I think that's something everyone wants to hear. So we're getting close to the end. What's the future of AI? That's a question that people will normally ask.
A lot of people ask what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What? Tell me the future. All right, so here's the thing. No one's really sure.
Okay.
No one's 100% positive on what the future looks like. And that's very uncomfortable for everyone. Everyone paints one of two ideas, though. The horrible doomsday idea where AI takes everyone's jobs and no one has purpose in life and it does everything, blah, 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 blah. I don't really like to put a foot in that camp, but I understand it. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to catastrophize things. Humans are really good at making the worst possible situation, right? Like that's what we are really good at. We can understand that. The other side is that AI is able to make egregious amounts of money and we're all equally prosperous and we can follow our passions, etc. That sounds really good too, but it's probably just as unlikely as the really doomsday scenario. Right. There's probably a truth somewhere in the middle where every person is enabled by artificial intelligence to be successful and pursue things that they're really excited about. And there's probably a bunch of people that are using AI in bad ways that are gross and manipulative and fraud-based, etc. So realistically, if we want to tilt it one way versus the other, it's people using the tool the right way more than using the tool the wrong way that brings us closer to the outcome that we all want. But some people are going to lose jobs with the rise of AI. Other jobs are going to be created. People are going to be able to follow their passions. People are going to realize that when they follow their passion may not be able to support them.
Right.
So there's going to be good and bad that happens. I think overall, us as users are going to push that path one way and push the adoption for the technology in that direction that we want it to be. And thankfully, we're in the U.S. where we get to vote on legislation, laws, and implementations that are really important. So I think that's what I would say is you can't be a passive participant. You have to be, an active participant in the process. You have to understand the technology. You have to use the technology so that you can build the future that you want with it.
Have you ever read the book or heard about the book Who Moved My Cheese?
No, I have not. Tell me more.
I used to have more time to read. Now we can get summaries. So I read the two versions of that book.
Okay.
So Who Moved My Cheese is about two mice that were in a labyrinth in an experiment.
Sure.
So they constantly had the cheese there. One day, the cheese disappeared, and one of them went out into the labyrinth to figure out where he could go get it, and he did the best he could, trying to get back to make sure that he could come back home. But the other mouse just stayed there, waiting for the cheese to show up. He basically never went out there to venture out. He just stayed there. Eventually, the mouse that was trying to go out there to find the cheese, because the cheese was gone and he was going to, starve to death. Eventually, he went out there and found it. Turns out they had moved the cheese to a different part of the labyrinth, but he figured out how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was super excited and he came back to the other mouse and said, "Hey, you no longer have to wait. I found the cheese. I know how to get there." But that mouse didn't actually want to leave the comfort zone and never made it to the other side where the cheese was. So to me, AI is very similar to that book that I read many years ago, but also relates to the second book, I Moved My Cheese. So they had a second book for that.
Makes sense.
For me, AI is kind of like the typewriter on the computer.
Yeah.
So if we don't learn how to use it, and we don't have to go very detailed into it, but we need to have some degree of understanding on at least how to use ChatGPT or whatever it might be to, I don't know, you go to a doctor, understand a little bit of what was said, or understand a little bit of what you're being told, or if you're having to go through whatever the process might be, you're not familiar with, trying to navigate that. I heard a lot of statements that AI is not coming to take your job, but people that learn how to use AI will have a more favorable opportunity.
Of course, yeah.
One of the things that I like doing is mentoring people that are getting, just in business in general, or people that are getting into tech or cyber. About a month ago, I had the opportunity to help someone who was an introduction. He got laid off because of AI.
Sure. And
when I was speaking with that person, he was looking for opportunities. And the first question that I'm a root cause analysis person. So if you get laid off because of AI, so AI is the cause, not blaming AI.
Yeah.
But then, okay, how do I become familiar with that? So this person had spent 4 months looking for a job rather than learning AI.
Right.
So the challenge is, it's a person in IT. So the challenge is, it's easier for someone to apply to a job. And if you have, certain keywords, it's easier for them to flag that resume to at least get an interview.
Absolutely.
So my recommendation was, try to focus as much time as you can over the next few weeks, or whatever you can, to try to go and really learn how you could do your job faster with AI.
Yeah.
And it's not that expensive to learn how to do that.
No.
The environment is out there. So I'm still waiting to hear back on how that went. But the challenge is, the field that we're in, or just the era that we're in now, is just changing very quickly. And that's why my 6th love language is growth.
Yeah.
Because if you're not growing, I see it as time. If you're not growing, you're just going backwards.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I think that's completely true. And I think it is a level of getting outside your comfort zone, like you said, right? And being willing to take a risk. And a lot of times we don't like risk because risk is uncomfortable and risk is something new for us.
Yes.
So you're 100% right.
What would be your advice to the next generation? That's one of the things we focus on this podcast. It's bringing wisdom to the next generation.
Yeah.
Rob, look at your life, and on the personal level, on the business level, AI.
Yeah.
What would you bring of value that could empower the next generation as they watch this podcast?
Yeah. If I had that direct conduit, I would reassure them that humans will always want to communicate and connect with other humans. And we know that because of all the catastrophes we've seen with my generation, the generation below us, right? And social media and cell phone usage and screen time and all these other things. All those failures that we've had, learn from,
Right.
and rely on the human connection aspect of things. A big portion of that will be oration and communicating with people, because artificial intelligence is eventually going to act in some way like a human. So you need to know how to talk to a human to be able to talk to AI, right? Don't study prompt engineering. You don't need to know that. Just like learn how to communicate an idea effectively. And that comes through failing to communicate an idea effectively, right? Like you learn, oh man, that's not what I said, right? Like that stupid peanut butter jelly sandwich thing that was like, write the instructions to make peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and everyone like does it wrong. Like that's really important now more than it's ever been. So I would say build friends, build connections. They're the most valuable currency in the world. Learn how to communicate with others effectively and share ideas. Don't be obsessed with technology and rely on it always. And I'll give yourself some grace. Like you don't know everything. It's okay to not know everything. The world is moving faster than you can realize. So you're probably not going to be able to keep up with it, even if you knew everything. And you can't predict the future. So build a foundation of love and acceptance and willingness to talk to others.
I love that. Very, very powerful. Yep. That can definitely bring a huge impact on someone's future.
Yeah.
You know, by moving through life that way.
Yeah.
As we come to an end, a last question.
Always. Always one more.
How do you move with your life, your career, the very successful career that you're leading now, that you have? How do you move through life with authenticity? What is something that you do that brings a lot of power and authenticity in everything that you're doing as you move forward?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that over the last probably I'd say 6 years, one of the things that I realized was that I was like self-censoring to a degree. Like I would like hold back an idea or not say a thing, like, and that thing could be like, I hate you, I love you. It doesn't matter what the thing is, right? Like it doesn't matter if it's work or personal. I think I got into this idea that I had to like censor who I was a little bit and like not be open and not be expressive and share ideas and commentary and that type of stuff. And I think that when I stopped doing that, I had two things happen. One, I figured out who I actually was, which is a scary thing to think about because I'm not young, right? Like I'm older. I figured out who I was. And two, I started having a bunch of success interpersonally, a bunch of success in business, a bunch of success with friends, because I was just like, no, I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna share the thing. Call my buddy. Mm-hmm. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Finish the call. All right, I love you. Because I do love this person, right? Listening and hearing what a client needs or a person needs that I'm talking to. And like being empathetic and not holding back from connecting with this person, even if they're not buying something or they're not a customer, right? Whatever. I think that was the only way that I really figured out, one, who I was, and two, who I ultimately want to be.
That's beautiful. I think not holding back is a powerful statement, action. I think when it's the only way actually of living a life that
100%.
That, actually brings value. Not holding back on anything, being yourself to the deep core at all times as you build, as you grow, as you embrace your challenges, as you struggle. Don't hold back. So I guess let's stay with let's not hold back. I love that. That's an amazing, beautiful saying, and that's a beautiful way of living.
Yeah.
Rob, you've shared so much with us, so much, beauty, value, motivation, and brought such a great energy to the podcast and authenticity. You can see that naturally flows in you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it so much. Seriously.
We appreciate we're very grateful for everything. We're grateful for you being our first speaker. I think, yes, if we haven't expressed yet, we have a lot of gratitude for that and for you accepting and being here today. I know you have a very busy schedule, constantly, traveling and things like that. And, you're making the choice of being here today means a lot to us. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm excited. Thanks.